American flag for the first time behind thick metal bars of a deportation bus. The bus is heading back to Mexico. And a small whisper escapes your lips, tinged with bitterness. America is not as great as the movies made it out to be. You say this mostly to gather strength. Strength you desperately need after enduring more than a dozen failed attempts to cross into the US illegally. And you're not alone in this journey. Your 13-year-old brother and your father are enduring every step of the way with you. Throughout your journey, you are chased by dogs, men and horses, even helicopters. Local gangs rob you of everything you have left. And before you know it, you are stopped by gunpoint by Border Patrol. But the distress doesn't end there. While detained, you are separated from your younger brother, and your father is placed in a cell with other men. You are confined to this cold and overcrowded concrete prison, surrounded by fellow immigrants. As you look around, you see their faces, tired, weary, exhausted, hungry, mirroring your own distress. These faces belong to ordinary people. They are mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, brothers and sisters. They have escaped suffocating poverty and violence in search of a better future. They, like you, are in pursuit of freedom. The person you just imagined going through this journey is me. I was 16 years old when I crossed the border illegally into the US. And you might assume that the trials and tribulations of this journey were difficult to endure. And they were. But today, I am here to tell you that the punishment of immigration enforcement extends far beyond the physical border. It continues to inflict suffering upon immigrants long after they made that initial crossing. Upon embarking in my academic journey at UC Berkeley, and subsequently at UCLA for my Ph.D., my personal experiences fueled this passion within me. And this passion took me to stand at the front lines, to advocate, volunteer, and march for a more humane immigration reform. At Berkeley, I discovered the power of my voice. Berkeley, the beacon of the free speech movement, equipped me with the realization that I can use my voice to effect positive change. It was not until I arrived at UCLA for my PhD, however, that I built up the courage to return to a place all too reminiscent of my past, an immigration detention prison. In there, I met Mirian. Dressed in prison blue uniform, he was a shadow of a man, exhausted and weary-eyed. Yet his eyes had this indomitable spirit, and his warm smile stood in stark contrast to a cold and bleak visiting room. Mirian became more than a name. He became my friend. I remember him once telling me, "I came to America seeking protection. Instead, I was shackled and imprisoned. America is supposed to be the land of the free, the protector of people like me." You see, Mirian was a political refugee from Ethiopia that had spent more than a year in prison in an immigration detention before he was set free. But the word free here carries a heavy caveat. You see, Binyam was set free with a GPS ankle monitor. And this GPS ankle monitor had the capability of tracking Binyam's whereabouts and also restricted where he could go. In essence, Binyam's freedom was another form of imprisonment. Many people view electronic monitoring as a more humane alternative to immigration detention because it promises freedom. But I'm here to tell you that it is just like switching one prison for another. You see, this uncomfortable device that was strapped to the leg of my friend became a shackle. And this shackle restricted him access to necessary and fundamental things like housing, employment, and even community support. This shackle also created a stigma because when people saw this shackle, it represented the idea of criminality. So every time Binyam went looking for a job, the employer will deny him. Also, it created fear in the immigrant community because when anyone saw that shackle, they thought that ICE will show up at any moment and arrest people and deport people. While I was doing this research and interviewing people to learn about the impact of electronic monitoring on themselves, on their families and communities, I met Miguel. Miguel, an immigrant from Mexico, he was shackled with this device for more than 18 months. And when his young son, Matias, and Matias is 8 years old, saw the monitor for the first time, he didn't say much. But then, on a sunny day in Southern California, they went to the beach. And Matias, like any other adventurous child, wanted to get in the water with his brand new boogie board. So Miguel told him, no, I can't let you in the water. Because if something happened to you with the boogie board, I'm gonna have to jump in. And if I do that, this device is going to be destroyed and ICE is gonna show up and take me away and deport me. So Matias became really angry. But this anger didn't stay there. It spilled over to affect his schooling. This anger spilled over to affect his relationships with his friends and family. And when his father sat him down and talked to him about what was going on, Matias simply said, I just want this device to be gone so we can go in the water together. So this electronic monitor erodes the democratic values we as Americans hold dearly. Freedom, justice. Also, it has the potential to terrorize people, right? To terrorize children in this case. And this idea is antithetical to the values and ideas that we hold dearly in America, right? America as a refuge for people seeking help. In this land of freedoms and opportunities, we must ask ourselves, are we comfortable inflicting this type of punishment on people seeking refuge? It is time that we acknowledge that borders are violent, and also acknowledge that these digital shackles only produce exclusion and suffering on people. And I ask you to join me to work on a truly humane immigration reform and abolish any form of electronic monitoring because true freedom cannot wait.